coming down. I never left it on the ground. I'm not coming down. I want to go higher, higher, higher than that.
Welcome back to the Business is Human podcast. I'm your host, Rebecca Fleetwood Hession, and we're here to bring you episodes that blend meaningful work with profitable success. Here to steward what I call the age of humanity. I believe if we transform the way we work, we can transform the way that we live. As always, my friendly request, if you like what you hear, hit subscribe so you don't miss any episode, and leave a review to tell the other humans that they might like it too. Always looking to help you and connect with others. All right, let's get into it, shall we? You know, one of the bummer downsides of social media is that words start to get buzzwordy and don't mean much anymore. That's what's happening with the word burnout. And I'm there too. And that's part of the work that I do. And I'm like, it just gets used in ways that are too much about marketing and not real. Same thing with thrive and authenticity, and all the words that are actually specific to my business are in every marketing post everywhere. And so it just starts to lose any sense of depth or meaning. But one of the things that I've been thinking a lot about as it relates to the clients that I work with and that have had major success in doing the practices and things that I've recommended to them is many of them aren't really in total burnout. A few are. A few definitely are, have been. But what they're experiencing is just kind of the blahs. It's not burnout, but it's like, ugh, bleh. The weeks just kind of blur together, and you're productive, you're performing, you're doing your thing, but you just feel like something is missing. So this episode is for you. It's for the high achiever. Again, another buzzwordy term. I don't have a better one. If you do, share it with me. So you're successful on the outside. You're getting your job done. You're meeting your goals. You may be getting awards for your success, but you have this feeling of being stuck in a cycle of same old, or how am I I've reached this goal. How am I ever going to do better than that? And so that's not failure. That's not because you're doing anything wrong. That's feedback. That's you talking to you. I call it our inner Thrive Guide. It's your system that's telling you that you need something different. You're not broken. And this one's big. You don't need to blow it all up. You don't need to quit your job and run away and start over somewhere. But it's probably time to stop settling for, I'm fine. Everything's fine. You know, those t-shirts. It's fine. Everything's fine. It's probably time not to just settle for that. So let's talk about the neuroscience of it for a minute. So if you're not in full-on burnout, you could be in what's called functional freeze. It's a state of where you're doing all the things, but you are emotionally detached, low energy, and you're just kind of going through the motions. So your nervous system isn't failing you. It's, as it's supposed to do, protecting you. That's your nervous system's number one job, to keep you safe. And here's what's happening. After years, in some cases like mine, decades of go, 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 your nervous system had to shift into survival mode because the pace in which that you're trying to live and work isn't really sustainable. And so in order to survive, your nervous system had to shut down some of your other functions, like being emotionally connected, like experiencing joy, like feeling okay, in order to survive. Let that sink in for a moment, because this is real. And it's the case for, I can't even guess how many people are living this way right now, but it's sad. Honestly, these are the things that keep me up at night. This is the stuff that when I lay down to go to sleep, I think, how can I reach more people to help them get unstuck and get out of this situation? Because it does make me sad, because now I can see the difference in myself and the people that I've worked with and how different their life is. And I want that for you too. So some signs that you're in this functional freeze mode. You're tired but wired. So those of you who are exhausted but stay up till whatever hours of the night, sometimes it's because it's the only time we feel like you get some quiet after the kids go to bed, or your brain's still cooking. You're doing all the things, showing up for all the things, but you feel disconnected from them and others. You're craving something more. I'll call it purpose, something that feels different, but you're stuck in performance. You say things like, well, when I get caught up, maybe I'll, and you keep going into performance mode, and that's never going to stop. So when you learn how to recognize this as a state of your nervous system, you can start making small changes and shifts that lead to big changes. What we tell ourselves is it's going to take some dramatic something to get you out of it. And that's not true. So what we need to do, naming your state of your nervous system is the first thing. That's what we just covered. And then we're going to break the narrative. We're going to change the story that we've been told. I call it the industrial age mindset. We're going to break out of that into a new story so that you can introduce some small shifts so that you can get at the core of things and go to deeper meaning. I'm basically, with this episode, sending you an invitation to more joy. So picture me showing up at your door. Knock, knock, knock. You open the door and you go, oh, hi. And I hand you this beautiful gold embossed invitation that says, would you like a life of more joy? Now, are you going to accept the invitation or are you going to slam the door on me? Invite me in. Let's have some coffee and talk about it. Let's pretend like that's what we're doing right now. Oh, I like that. I should have set it up like this in the beginning. All that just came to me in the moment. Okay, so we've got to break out of the story we've been told, the industrial age story. So the industrial age story is work harder, be productive, earn your worth. We were taught that our value is in our output. It's in all the emails are caught up, all the goals are done, the list is there, all of the checks are on the list. And so we became more like high functioning machines. And you've heard me say this a million times. We are not machines here to produce. We are beautiful humans. And so I'm inviting you to change the narrative of that industrial age model into what I call the age of humanity, because you're seeing it around you. The narrative does look a little different. People are talking more about nervous system regulation. People are talking about their feelings. People are not just talking about the hustle culture like we used to. So there's this emerging shift. And I want to be a part of that shift and get a whole lot more of us doing the things that are going to have a ripple effect in your family and in your work so that we can move there faster. And it's a new way of doing business that's rooted in connection, human to human connection, connection to our joy, connection to our purpose. It's about rest. It's about purpose. It's not about hustle and control. So it's this shift from everything needs to be controlled to one of more connection to ourselves, to our purpose, to our loved ones, to our team, to our work. And it's also, this is important, it's not about doing less. It's about doing more of what matters, but it's really about doing it from a place where we are grounded, regulated, and healthy. And so the old way of thinking in the industrial age is I got to control everything around me before I can be okay. And that's never going to happen because the world is an uncertain place. People are uncertain. Your car could break down tomorrow. You could have your best person put in their notice. Anything could happen on any given day. And so if you're waiting until you have everything all fully controlled around you and you feel like you're in charge of doing the controlling before you can rest, I say that like it's no big deal, but that's the way I moved through my life for easily a decade. And it doesn't work. And I did end up in full-blown burnout with 2 months of pneumonia, so sick I couldn't leave my house, for reals. And so I know it doesn't work. And I also know what I'm recommending to you does. And so what I want you to think about is the small daily shifts, not the big gargantuan quit everything, start over. Because neuroscience says that small repeated actions rewire our brain. So it's not about a massive overhaul. It's about consistent, intentional shifts of your habits in the day-to-day. And I'm going to tell you a few of these. And before you blow past them, I want you to think about why you would want to implement some of these small changes that are free, easily accessible to you. Like there's no reason not to do them, but you have to decide why they matter to you. And so if any of this has been resonating with you and you're like, yeah, I am kind of just going through the motions, I am feeling really disconnected, then I want you to ask yourself, why would I want to do this? Why would I want to consider making some small shifts? And I love the story framework that says, I want to fill in the blank, introduce these small shifts to gain more clarity in my life, to get more peace in my life, to get more joy in my life, whatever it is. I want to do these things for this reason, because if I don't, what's the consequence of staying the same? Sometimes that's a greater catalyst for change than what you can even envision better might be. Because the problem is we've lost our access to being able to think about or imagine that life could be better. Because that is one of those functions in our nervous system that had to get shut down for us to survive the performing, hustle, got to get it all done that I talked about earlier. So oftentimes we don't have access to being able to imagine a life that's better. And so for you, the catalyst for change might be, what's the consequence of staying where I am? Are you less effective at work? Are you losing your relationships with your friends, your family, your kids, your spouse? Are you just losing you? And I'm here to tell you, we need you in this world. So step it up. Let's get to it, shall we? Maybe if I boss you around, that'll be what you need. I'm not unwilling to do that. Okay, so here's a few small daily shifts that you can make. This one's going to take you 10 minutes a day. And part of the problem with me giving you these small daily shifts is you've bought into the lie that small daily shifts aren't going to work because you think it's going to take a dramatic change. You think you either need to quit your job, move to Italy, divorce your spouse, whatever. You think there needs to be like this dramatic shift in order to have dramatic results. And you got to come untethered from that lie, because that's not the truth. And connect with this truth. 10 minutes. I want you to spend 10 minutes being still every day. Start with 10 minutes. I know. You're going to twitch. You're going to fight it. You're like, oh, I don't know. Then people say to me, what do I do in those 10 minutes? Be still. It's the snow globe metaphor that I talk about all the time. But in case you're new, I'm going to say it again. When a snow globe gets shook up, everything's spinning all around. It has to be set down to settle everything that's spinning. So what's inside can see out and what's outside can see in. You can't connect to yourself and the life around you because so much of that stuff is spinning around. It's a metaphor for your cellular structure. For the cells in your body are just frenetic. And by being still, they get to settle. And if you don't do that, your cells are beating each other up and causing dis-ease, disease. So there's your bah, bah, bah moment. So 10 minutes of stillness. You're going to suck at it at first. You're going to fight it. And I beg you to do it. So let me give you a couple of ways to do 10 minutes of stillness. And I'm not talking about listening to a podcast or learning something, just being still. This is the perfect time of the year to do it. Weather's getting nicer outside. I want you to go outside for 10 minutes, ideally in the morning. And I want you to notice everything around you. Oh, look, the grass is getting greener. Oh, look, the robins are building a nest, getting ready to lay their eggs. Oh, look, the neighbor's dog is barking. Oh, look, the sun is beautiful today. Oh, notice, just for 10 minutes, notice everything around you. Feel your butt in the chair. Just get reconnected to your body and what's around you. Start there. Once you start to enjoy that, and you need a next level of what to do in your stillness, message me. I'll tell you. Start there. Just notice. So take a walk. If you can't sit still for 10 minutes, take a walk and notice everything around you. Okay, here's another one. A nervous system check-in. And there's lots of ways to do this. The way that my clients and I do it is we ask ourselves, what's my number on a scale of 1 to 10? 1 being the worst, 10 meaning bliss, and 5 meaning the flat eye, flat mouth emoji. Meh. What state am I in? Where am I? How am I feeling? What you're doing is you're asking yourself, you're checking in with yourself, you're connecting with yourself. Am I safe? Am I grounded? Just check in with yourself. Sometimes it helps to put a silent alarm on your phone for 2 or 3 times throughout the day. It could just say, check in with yourself. It could say, what's your number? Nervous system check-in. Another small daily shift is breath work or movement. So square breathing, breathe in for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4, hold for 4. Do that a few times throughout the day to reset. Get up and go for a 10-minute walk in the middle of the day to reset. All free, all easily accessible. None of these require you to hire a divorce lawyer, quit your job, none of it. You don't have to go back to school. You don't have to sell your house, none of it. You can start them today. And here's one of my favorites, a gratitude practice. And here's why we do it. You are retraining your brain to find good. Watch a toddler or a small child move through the world and see how excited they get about everything around them. You're reconnecting with the good that's around you. You're noticing it. And I'm not talking about just fill out the list in a pretty journal. I'm grateful that I have great kids. I'm talking about feeling it. I'm talking about sitting and observing the good around you in your life and feeling a sense of gratitude for it. These aren't hacks. These are habits designed to restore clarity and joy. I just gave you the secret to joy. I didn't even charge you for it. But that's the problem, is we think it's too simple. Okay, I designed this 8-week masterclass because I am deeply devoted to helping people find more joy and connection in their life without sacrificing your paycheck or your benefits or your granite countertops or your great car or your great house. In fact, the more you connect to yourself and the world around you, the greater your impact. And actually, you'll end up making more money and having more satisfaction. But you're going to have to do it differently. And so I designed this 8-week masterclass to be a fast track to get there so that you can enjoy results quickly. This is the kind of work I do in my 7-month Rise and Thrive experience, where I take 7 women through an experience and then I put them on a big stage to share their story at a big event. Not everybody wants to do a big event or that level of commitment. And so I designed this for everybody else at half the price of Rise and Thrive and an 8-week commitment instead of a 7-month commitment. The number 8 in the Bible actually means new beginnings. Love that. So I want to walk you through all of the science that will help you restore, that will help you reconnect to you and to your purpose, to find maybe your purpose for the first time or reconnect with a greater sense of joy. But here's the part I can't leave out. I have studied mindset for 35 years. I mean, I worked for the Franklin Covey organization for 20 years. They are the master at mindset work. I mean, that was Dr. Stephen R. Covey's entire life work with the 7 habits, 8 habits, all that he did. Hiram Smith, another founder. I have studied this more than most people. I know the science behind it. I've spent the last 7 years accessing all the neuroscience I could get my hands on to understand behavior, why we do what we do, why we don't do what we should do. But what really changed everything wasn't just what I did differently. I can teach you the habits, and I will, and they work. But if you really want sustainable way of seeing the world so that no matter what's happening around you with all of the uncertainty, then taking it to a deeper level is a key. And it wasn't until I started to trust the true source of my value and my worth and my identity by thanking God in my gratitude practice, not just thinking that I was in charge of everything. When I surrendered the fact that I can't be in control of the world, I know it was tough. It took me years to let that one go because I had spent years believing that if I let go of things, everything would fall apart. And actually what happened is while I was hanging on to everything, that's when it fell apart. Because my cellular structure didn't have the ability to control every single thing around me. And so something had to give. And so when I recovered from that 2 months of pneumonia, during that recovery process, when everything around me had to stop so that I could literally survive, that's when I was able to do some really deep reflection to say, I can't keep this up and I don't want to. And it was in that time that I started to lean into my worth wasn't about my performance. And I started to lean into my identity. God didn't want me to struggle and suffer and be sick. And I was able to disconnect my identity from my performance because that's a game you can't win. And I started to realize that not everything and everyone around me was judging me, that it was okay for me to just be. I went through years where I wouldn't even just sit on the couch and relax because if somebody was in the room, I didn't want them to see me slacking. And a lot of that was in my subconscious. I wasn't even aware of it. And I also want you to hear this because I'm going to be 59 in a couple of weeks. Wild. You're not too late for a great life, ever. You're not too late for change. You're not behind. Every single day is an invitation to begin again and do it differently. You have that freedom of choice because the real transformation isn't about working harder. It's about renewing how you think, how you lead, how you live. And listen, I intersect Bible, brain, and business, but this is not about religion. I hate religion. This is about relationship with the one who created you, who wants you to have the best life ever, who wants more for you than you want for you. That's the real point. It's about renewal. It's about connection to a deeper truth that sustains you, not your performance. So if the performance trap that I was in, so many of you are in, if that's left you feeling empty, then maybe it's time to tap into something that's completely and utterly unshakable. So back to that invitation that I knocked on the door and delivered to you today. What if real leadership, real business is about wholeness? So if you're ready for that, I can help you. This masterclass, I promise you, will help you. And here's what I know you'll get. You'll get the deep reflection that you need and deserve, because I'm going to walk you through it step by step. I'm going to give you neuroscience-backed tools. I'm going to help you redefine what success is for you. I don't know what success is for you, but I can help you discover it for you. And I'm going to give you a very safe space to do this work where you are loved, you are respected, and there is nothing you can bring me that will surprise me, shock me, cause me to judge you, or think any less of you. I'm doing this masterclass because I love you as the human that you are. And I want you to reconnect to the joy and the sense of self that you deserve. So there are 3 steps as we cross this bridge from the industrial age of control, feeling like we have to control everything and produce everything to be worthy, into the age of humanity where we understand a little bit more about ourselves and our soul so that we can connect to ourselves, we can connect back to joy, we can connect with each other. And those 3 steps are healing from some of those old scripts, humility to understand who we are uniquely, not trying to copy and paste from somebody else or compare ourselves to someone else, and to get back to a sense of helping, which really lights our hearts and souls on fire when the work that we do is connected to one another. So it's not about working more. It's about these things. So if this spoke to you in some way, which I really, really, really hope that it did, contact me. Let's schedule a time to meet and talk about it. I've got a couple of free webinars that I'm going to be doing over the next couple of weeks for those that are interested, but not quite ready to send me their credit card information and sign up, but still interested enough to say, tell me more. If you want to schedule that conversation one-on-one, happy to do it. There is a link in the show notes for all of those things. So, because you're not meant to just survive the week, you're meant to live it fully, joyfully. Okay. I love you, Mina.
I'm not coming down. I never left it on the ground. I'm not coming down.
Thanks for being here. You can follow us on Instagram, Business is Human, or TikTok, Rebecca Fleetwood Hession. It's a great way to share some of the clips with your colleagues and friends. All right. Make it a great day. Love you, mean it.